the wise man of Mars.
And finally, a new conspiracy on the right that this Omicron variant only appeared so that Democrats could push for nationwide vote-by-mail ballots. This is, of course, nonsense, since it would require thousands of public health officials all around the world to cooperate to hype up the deadliness of this new variant just to sway politics in the US, where most of these officials do not, in fact, live. Also, the Omicron variant has so far proved to be politically toxic for Joe Biden, who ran in large part on a promise to end the pandemic.
Yeah. So it was the right prestigious Ronnie Jackson that put out the tweet basically suggesting that the Omicron variant was to sway voting.
Yeah, and there were a couple other people who sort of jumped in on this. And it makes me really annoyed because I know none of these people believe that this makes any kind of sense, but this is going to play really well with the base, and I hate it. It's so predictable that it's such a good strategy sometimes in politics to just say the most ridiculous thing and get a bunch of news coverage and then get the stupid demographic on your side because they'll agree with the thing you said that got news coverage because it was so ridiculous.
Right.
It's such a predictable strategy and it works, and it's annoying to me that it works, but that's what this is. I think
well, I'm going to reiterate something I've said a couple times before, but you've heard it, new audience maybe. If there is a conspiracy here, it is to kill off the old and the weak with a virus that only targets the old and the weak,
right,
in order to further the economy. That is the conspiracy. That is the only thing that makes any sense. But to sterilize the young, there is no advantage to sterilizing the young. There's a huge disadvantage to that. If you need slave labor, you're not going to sterilize your slave labor.
Right.
I don't know how to get that across to people. I mean, start looking in the right place. You might find something there, but you are not going to find something in whatever this is. Now, is it possible that the Omicron variant came out? It's not very bad. What I'm seeing is that it's highly more infectious, but
we don't know how
less symptoms, but we don't know that. But
we just don't know.
Is it possible that a variant came out that was less dangerous, that certain aspects of the government are riding in order to push their agenda? Absolutely. I mean, Sure. That's not even conspiracy level threat. That's like day-to-day spinning of media,
Right. But the thing about this is you can't. So what's the solution, right? Do you want to not know about each new variant? Because they might be bad and we need to know about that information, right?
Right.
There's no way to prevent anyone for whom this is advantageous to spin what's happening. There's no way to prevent spin. It's just going to happen. So
right. Yeah, and this takes us back to what you were saying about swaying, and this is why I disagree. I think if kids were to grow up in a world where analytical thinking was every part of every stage of things, I don't think they would be so easily swayed by these things. They'd be whatever, it's like I'm used to taking in the data and processing the data myself, and the data has been presented to me, so you could sway it however you want, but I see the processed data and I have some understanding of what this means.
Here's my counterexample to that, is that I think we do live in that world. I think people are used to solving things based on the data they have available to them, because that's called using your brain. There's literally no alternative to doing things that way. People do that every day of their lives. The problem is that people don't have good data available to them because life is so complicated that on almost any issue you care to name, it takes years and years to even have the data in front of you, to even have it in your head in order to make a conclusion. But people don't have that much respect for how complicated life is. So they assume that what they know about a topic is all there is to know. And people do this with every single topic.
So how do we fix it? Let Jesus take the wheel?
Just let people know that they are dumb and that they shouldn't speak up on things that they do not hold professional
I see.
certifications in.
Be all, you are dumb. You don't know anything about that.
Yes, just beat them into the dirt.
I don't know how many times a sentence in an argument has started from me with, like you, I know very little about this.
Right, exactly. We just gotta nail this idea into people's heads.
Right.
That life is complicated and you are not very smart.
Yeah. Well, I'm impressed with the spread of dystopian storytelling with this, though, because a lot of these conspiracies are basically retells of dystopian books.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, credit for good taste.
Right. Yeah. No, great genre. Great genre.
I'm happy that people like, Asimov and William Gibson. I'm happy that people are reading these things. Just, you don't know anything. Just shut your mouth.
Yeah.
That applies to me too. Anyone who wants to tell me you don't know anything, shut your mouth. I'll be like, you got me there, dude. Touche.
Yeah, totally. Touche.
Touche.